as if they are accepted facts. We don't do this with communism, we don't do this with socialism, we don't do it with capitalism. And I want to speak about a dangerous trend in race relations that has come far too close to home to my life. This is the promotion of critical race theory, an ideology that sees my blackness as victimhood and their whiteness as oppression. I want to be absolutely clear. This government stands unequivocally against critical race theory. Some schools have decided to openly support the anti-capitalist Black Lives Matter group, often fully aware that they have a statutory duty to be politically impartial. Black lives do matter, of course they do, but we know that the Black Lives Matter movement, capital BLM, is political. I know this because at the height of the protest, I've been told of white Black Lives Matter protesters calling, and I'm afraid I apologize for saying this word, calling a black armed police officer guarding Downing Street a p***. That is why we do not endorse that movement on this side of the house. It is a political movement, and what would be nice would be for members on the opposite side to condemn many of the actions that we see this political movement instead of pretending that it is a completely wholesome anti-racist organization. There is a lot of pernicious stuff that is being pushed, and we stand against that. We do not want to see teachers teaching their white pupils about white privilege and inherited racial guilt. And let me be clear, any school which teaches these elements of critical race theory as fact.
Hello everyone, I know it's a bit of an odd start to have that video at the start, but it is poignant to what I'm wanting to say to you. I am totally with the government on this one. We really oughtn't be teaching a race theory, guilt trip theory on how the world is today, okay? Because for me, as a young student, it just doesn't concur with the facts. The fact is that I definitely was taught about racism at school, okay? And if people in my class claim that they weren't, they obviously were not listening. It's the same as the sex education classes we all got. Believe me, we knew about condoms, we just didn't use them. And we use lots of excuses to say that they don't work, from my experience. Sorry if I offend someone there. The fact is that I was, as a white person, taught that only slave owners were white and we're oppressive and that they're my ancestors just because they happen to be white, when genetically speaking I could have ancestry from all over the place. And black students were taught that due to that, their ancestors had to work harder to get where they are now, which is a story that I presume lots of kids get. Supposedly white kids don't get that, but again, I think that's a slight stereotypical perspective. So I think the biggest difference between BLM and the No Outsiders program is this. One is teaching negative perspectives, a negative mental state to our society, and the other is teaching a positive mental state to our society. Thinking you're a victim or that you're an oppressor and that you should apologise profusely and constantly doesn't go for an equal society, and it isn't really a non-biased or non-judgmental perspective. It is pretty negative minded, and you know, it perpetuates negativity. It perpetuates that you should choose him for the job just because he happens to be black, not just because he happens to have good qualifications or she happens to have good qualifications. And that's what I don't like about it. The positive mental health training is coming from the No Outsiders program, and that is because the No Outsiders program is and was about everybody, hence the words No Outsiders. It's not just about Black Lives Matter, it's about no outsiders. It's about all communities within our society that make up the cultural perspectives that we have, you know? It is about teaching about Islam. It's about Muslims. It's about Judaism. It's about Sikhism. It's about Christianity. It's about homosexuality, and it's about transgenderism. It is about disability. It had no outsiders. Now, whilst I recognise that 90% of the parents in the schools did not want this being taught to their children, the fact is that staying within your own little bubble is increasingly being proven to not be good for your mental health. It is not good for the child's mental health development. It actually increases the propensity to believe in certain things and to do certain things. And it doesn't matter what faith or creed you're from. I believe that the 18-year-old lad in France who decapitated a teacher for talking about freedom of will and showing cartoons of Muhammad in his chat about freedom of speech and freedom of will, he was in his own little bubble. He was not prepared to recognise the rest of society. And if you don't recognise the rest of society and people within society, then those people become very angry and could, in fact, cause quite a few crimes. It could cause a lot more mental damage and a lot more mental harm that leads to actual and physical harm to society and to the places that we live in. Okay? So that is much more why, that is why I am not against the No Outsiders programme. I would endorse the No Outsiders programme. I just recognise that, sadly, it's a bit like my teaching in schools that I'd currently got about sex education and no smoking. You know, why people say smoking is bad and you know, why people say smoking is good. The fact is that you can teach people that cigarettes increase your cancer rate, okay? But it doesn't stop a person from smoking, you know? Which is why I'm glad that we had the common sense to create the law about smoking in public, because we don't want other people's freedom of will, of other people's freedom to be as healthy as they want to be, stopped because we chose to smoke. We can teach people that wine in particular causes 7 different types of cancer and has been proven to cause 7 different types of cancer, but it doesn't stop them from drinking wine and having fun, okay, whilst they're drinking wine. I'm not saying that you can't have fun and not drink wine, believe me, you really can. But what I'm saying is that there is always going to be that odd one out, that person that is just not going to listen to the emotions and the needs of the rest of society. What I like about the No Outsiders idea is the fact that we are recognising all aspects, all people, all individuals within our society as members of our society. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for now. Obviously, if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Keep them respectful. I'm sorry if I have offended anybody, but you know, you can't have freedom of will without a consequence, and one of those consequences is if you're offended, stop watching my videos. You have that capability. Don't watch my videos. But if you like my video, please subscribe and share with your friends and watch my videos, because it really does mean a lot to me. So thank you for watching, guys, and thank you to those who have been inspired to subscribe. It really does mean a lot. Have a great